everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be playing some 4-color control. I took this from the super qualifier list on Goldfish. I think it was the second one, but there was also another list in third, so it is kind of the same type of build. This is pretty much what our plan is to get a lot of value off of our draw engines, whether it's using River Regent's side ability or Consult and stock up to get cards to fill our hand. And we're playing probably the most efficient removal we can, along with our uncounterable inevitable defeat, which has been a random 4 card that was unplayable until super playable, along with Jeskai Revelation. This was unplayable until it became super playable. It's a really weird deck when it comes to that. We have some really cool, fun cards like Mystical Teachings to tutor things up, the end as a splash of 1, and a Day of Judgment as well. With that said, we only have 3 games in today's video, and if you saw how long it is, that means one of them is a grind fest, and that will be game 3, in which we take a 24-minute detour of how to maybe play this deck against Vivi when you run into it on the ladder, as I think it went very well for us. There might have been a couple misplays. I am playing this after my 12-hour Modern 5K day of doing that, so I could be misplaying, not entirely sure. I think I played it pretty well overall, but we'll obviously see that in post, and maybe I'm lying to you, who knows. But with that said, let's go game. All right, we're finally ready. They hit the timer. I was just doing stuff at random. We're gonna play Sacred Foundry tap, so we have a red and white mana in available if we need it, and then we can helix something if we need to. Is this a die make a rat? It is. So here we could go Shock to play No More Lies, but I think I'm just going to play a Plains and have a Helix available, and then we can go for like blue here for No More Lies next turn. This one we should not have to worry about ever. It's more or less what they play after this one. Like, it's 1 damage will let happen all day. If they plot like a Slick Shot, then maybe we Helix it. I don't know. Because we can just go for maybe a counter or something. Yeah, that's like way more needed for the Helix. That like triples the damage a turn from that guy. So now we go here, we go blue. I'll pay 2 life here. Now we get to No More Lies something. We can play this tapped for black on this. Sure. Screaming Nemesis is a cool card. I would agree with you. Just in that weird spot of like probably want it to resolve, I would assume. Oh, Hired Claw. Is there a 2-mana card I care about more than this one? No, probably not. We'll just see if they pump it and then we'll get lost it. Yeah, they take the entire turn to do that. We'll just do this. We're perfectly fine with that. And then I guess we can go here, which would be turned on, but I think we go here and we just put it on black, have it enter tapped. I understand it's available, but No More Lies should be good enough to kind of keep us protected here. Even if this ends up hitting us for 3, we're not really going to care that much. It does suck that it was used as a draw card, though. Obviously not pumped about that. The longer the game goes, the better it is for us, especially when their threat's not that relevant in the grand scheme of things. Another land hit. Different basic mountains. Okay. We'll use No More Lies, since apparently they're going to be able to be aggro and pay their way out of it. So, don't know how that's possible, but we'll take it. Now we have another counter spell. That's good. We have Inevitable Defeat, which is good. They've tapped out like every turn, so I don't feel like Protection is a card that we have to worry about. Maybe a Shelter by Ghost or some kind. This can't be countered, so we don't even have to worry about that. Any ward type effect doesn't work. Any indestructible effect doesn't work. Because, again, exile does matter. But we're probably looking to counter and draw here. If I had to take a good guess on what our turn should be. Especially if we're just going to keep getting hit by 1. Again, the longer this game can go, the better off we are. This card I do care about. Because we're about to draw 2. Last thing I want to do is let this resolve, then draw 2, right? And then take way too much extra damage. We go for the 4th copy. Why not at this point? Other mono red deck being like blue red, I suppose. Just gonna exile this. That card, hard for us to beat. Some more lines might be good here. We might find value off of it. Realistically, they can definitely play around it, and that's not going to do it. Not finding the 6th land, which is totally plausible for this. If, you know, our force opponent found all of it, then what are we really doing here? Whenever another creature you control enters, this deals 1 damage. Yeah. We'll just pass. We'll hold this because we don't necessarily need 1 more land drop right now necessarily. We're going to use this as a counter draw too. Yeah. Not exactly the matchup I thought we were against. Seeing the razors and stuff. Alright, well, we might lose just off that alone. Nothing like kind of answering everything on the board and then unfortunately hitting basically solid lands in a row. A nice pocket of like 4 or 5 there. We'll see. Yeah. Alright. I was going to say there's about like a card that gets us out of this, and it's just Jeskai Revelation. Have to remember that the bounce happens here. What is the card we cast? Interesting. Return target permanent, deal 4 damage. Here. The Day of Judgment. So now I don't feel really bad about blocking here. Sure. You actually even want to block here. So when this dies and the token enters, we can Day of Judgment to board and clear the entire board entirely. If that makes sense. The end, not probably necessary, that's for sure. What if we do it maybe the opposite way? What if we like shoot this? What if we shoot this, bounce this, and then we just draw 2 more cards and then hold the Day of Judgment? Because they're most likely going to lead into this, right? Solves. So return 4. Okay. The number of creatures, not that. So we go here. We play this for 4 because we have a mystical teaching. Make them pick up both of those, so they're getting no value based on ETB. Hit them down, and then now we're just kind of primed, ready to go for this win. They can double play them out, which is fine, obviously. Maybe fine's the wrong word. See how they take this turn. Sure. This does damage based on creatures, not the creature's power or toughness. I thought they got me for a second, and I was like, no, that's not how that card works. Oh, they use all 3 timeouts, and conveniently enough, come back now. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. That is fine with me, brother. That's what you want to do, and so be it. Look, you can sacrifice that one too. Probably should. Probably should. Save you 3 life. Here. Deal. Do this. We want to get prowess up, and now if we can like helix them, we can win. I think. Yeah. Sure. They wasted 3 timeouts halfway through the last one. They came back, started playing again, and then immediately concede. So, fun experience. All right, cool. We'll try. This is definitely a hand we can get punished on. And if we do, we do. Kind of the best of 1B straight, where it's like we kind of have to take some risk. This would actually be turned on, so that's pretty sweet. Then this will just be a red, which isn't even the worst. We have blue, black, white, and red available. We have Boros. They don't really have any protection spells. Not super pumped to use this Get Lost here, because now they have fuel. This is one reason I hate Get Lost. And I mean, like, I hate using Get Lost, but it's just the best in slot that you'd be using. You kind of just have to. Do they go for pump? They go for Nemesis. Sure. No more lives is not available here, but maybe Day of Judgment? Unfortunate. So we can defeat it, I guess. What do I want to grab here? A Helix, maybe? What do I actually want to grab? Blue, white. This would be available. We need the red. Yeah, so we'll grab here. Red, white, black. It's all available, sure. Get hit for a ton. Another Helix. We'll pop this, of course. Basically reset what will happen to me this turn. We'll take 1 extra damage, maybe 2 extra damage. If they pump the higher claw, they can obviously do a lot more to us. A Day of Judgment would be a pretty sweet draw to follow. Obviously, that Lightning Helix draw would have been pretty dope to be one. A little part of me, if I hit a red land, wants me to, like, Helix, but... Okay. I think stocking up and finding land here matters a ton. You need to grab here, and then maybe here. This. We might just be dead regardless, but I think the play now is to get to this and Helix was my plan. But they can obviously burn their own Nemesis at any time, which is obviously brutal. But I think if we just answer Nemesis, we're taking another free 4, maybe 5 again. And that just becomes an incredibly hard situation to deal with. Shock. Like I'm taking this and maybe into a Boros Charm or something of the sorts. Go Helix face. Okay. We should be able to do it like this. Helix here. And here. A lot of life gained. Of course. I mean, 6, 6, 12. We're just gaining, or 3, 3, 3, 3 for 6 and all that good stuff. First Lightning there. They're cashing in. They're like, how many more can you have? I can have a lot. Dude, our thing just loves to hate us. Oh boy. Give me this Helix. Pop this. They're down to 1 card. We've done everything we can when it comes to burning things out of the game. We kind of just need this last card to be a burn spell, I guess. It is. Down to 3 we go. Go ahead. Oh, let's go. This might be our window. Don't have the mana for that anyway, so let's grab the teachings. What a world. What a day. We can do this on like what island here? You're tapped, so that'll turn our verges online. So now we're looking pretty great. I don't know. In turn, let's see. A double plot here. A good thing we have counterspell, which we really don't. We definitely do not. And we're at end step here. I think I'm going for max card draw. Alright, so we grab Helix to just cast now, pretty much. And Revelation to do after. We do this to gain a little bit of life, so we're not just dead to a Helix after they double cast these, right? Surveil. Deal. So what I was afraid of is cast, a lot of other things. We want this card on top, so I guess here I might as well just bounce this. Deal 4 here, and I'll take a draw. Because we're going to get a second one anyway. The amount of life gain that we got from our graveyard pieces. We've used every lightning helix. Now, did we tutor out 2 of them? Pretty much, yeah, because we looked at the top 7, then the top 8. So we looked at 15 cards, grabbed the best 4 out of that 15 that we thought. Then a revelation that leads into another revelation. This puts us at 10. We draw this other one, and we have the exact same plan, but we're also way higher, and we have enough to threaten, where we start getting a lot of damage because they go to 11, and then they go to 9. And then if they feel pressured to do anything, we do this and then have 4 monks, and then it's just over from there for sure. We're on the play. We get to go surveil right away. A land would be ideal when we find one. This one surveil land turns on the verge in this verge. Oh, looks like we are having fun. I get to 4-color control. Our favorite matchup. Good on that one, Chief. This 1/1 can attack me all day. I do not care about it. I promise you that. Alright, surveillance actually pretty solid here. We'll bend the land. Most likely going to find some more along the way. Because then we can lead in the verge. And then we can always shock this in if we have to. Yeah. The Quantum Riddler Blink deck? No? Missing a land? Oh, not my hero. Oh, don't worry, I'm finding him. I'm gonna take a surveil land for later, I think. Almost just played it instinctually, but we go land here. We pass. We have a get lost for the creature. We have a trail for Cauldron, maybe. Didn't have anything. Yes. I'm not going to use this until they actually put something to use with this Cauldron, right? Like, there's just no point. And this is uncounterable, so it's not like they can just randomly go, oh, hey, counter your thing, protect my Cauldron. I'll just defeat it and call it a day. Get lost. It sucks because I don't really want to have the get lost, but I guess I keep, so I cycled the River Regent. You can exile cards from me. I don't really care. Okay. Snapcaster Mage, Torrential Gearhulk. Eventually they'll find a land. Oh, it's not turn 3, so they did find the land. It's just not that great. Sure. I like missing land drops, so I feel like I want to continue to make them essentially miss land drops. Blue, red, white. Okay, so we probably need another Day of Judgment's a card we have. So this needs to be white. I'll pay 2 life even. Because now I want to cycle this while holding up to get lost. keep progressing while we can. Exit. For some reason, I thought Cauldron had one of those weird, like, exile it for 8 mana, make a bunch of things for some reason, even though I know it doesn't. Okay. Here. I have 3. And they could be upset, but they had 3 Makos, so it had to land though. Proud of you. I go here. Not playing around Spell Pierce for nothing, dude. Yeah. So this on white. Now this should come in on black. This can enter tapped, however. I'd like to play the 4th Mako. Not going to get low enough that this Quantum Riddler is going to be able to hit, so we'll see. I guess so. Oh, Braid. I thought that was a Pyroclasm at first. I was like, dude, this guy's feeling it. I always have something. I always have removal. Making these maps worthless at one map at a time. I keep feeling priced into my removal, but I'd like to pick up a counter spell for this Quantum Riddler. So I guess I'll grab here and then maybe here, and we'll see if we rip on land or not. Or Fourth-ish get lost? Yeah, sure. Yeah. I mean, using Cauldron is just correct. It doesn't seem correct, or it just seems like kind of annoying, but it's definitely like the correct thing to do. I guess so. This will be the first time we let this thing have value, because again, at some point they're going to discard a VV. You'd think, anyway. Blood Maw. Okay. Hey, 4th Mako. Just in time for me to get lost in. Isn't that funny? No. 4th get lost. At least that one wasn't used for your Mako, though. You know? Teaching. Now it feels like this is the perfect time to go grab one of these. Just let them see it, you know? That we got something diabolical cooking up over here. We could, like, bounce shoot, but then, you know, there's a lot of problems with that. I'm also still on, like, inevitable defeat. Yeah, that's fine. That's the worst part. Like, Cauldron, again, because they're using it and they've built up a habit of using it every single turn, they know to exile that and aren't mistakenly just like, oh, I guess I'll pass the turn. Who knows? Now they're trying to think of how they get around all these steps. How does this work? Exile target card from a graveyard. When it's creature exile, put a 1/1 counter on a target creature. How do we do this? I guess we let it resolve. I guess we just like beat it. Then we just counter their next thing. That's good. Because this does exile their creature, right? It does exile BV. So it's not like they get to just do the cauldron and activate it after. One. Here. Now, if they do somehow map VV on top, put VV in graveyard, like, they got me, bro. I don't know. We're gonna get use out of our counterspell now. Getting close to this Quantum Riddler being good, that's for sure. Now they're just like, alright, I'm running out of options. We could have to send that forth. 2 cards in hand. An interesting spot to be in. A part of me thinks I go stock up here. And a little part of me is a lot of part of me. A big portion. I just pass. We're supposed to get this popped off at some point. Maybe start threatening our opponent, actually. Here. We had to let... I think we had to let this resolve. Oh, deal. The reason we have to let that resolve is I think we have to get them here so they can't abrade their own creature. Oh, I guess it would never work that way anyway, right? We'll take care of this. Maybe. Got rid of a cauldron. They're down to 37. This could hit a VV on top, which would suck, obviously, but it does not. Profs is a pretty good card, though. We're pretty close to the turn of just like shooting this thing for 4, putting that back in their hand, and they're just kind of being hopeful from there. And maybe we'll hit an Immortalize, and I think here's the best time to do it. They can follow up by Quantum Riddlering, but that's okay. So here's a bounce. We do this, and then we shoot this for 4. Maybe not our favorite draws of all time, but... I have to assume at some point that they don't just have like actual good threats. They're out of Mako's entirely, I believe. Yeah, so they can Riddler from the grave or the exile, draw, play land, play profs, draw again. Then they're set up to do pretty well. They go for Tersa, which makes sense. What are you getting rid of? A Cauldron. So this last card might be Cauldron. Guess they could hit a Cauldron on this Ursa attack here, which would suck. Yeah, so they already had a Cauldron. We kind of thought so based on that play. But we'll see. How many Cauldrons? That's 1, 2, and third one's here. Deal. Done. Nice. Good hit. Perfect. Everything we ever wanted. We're probably going to stock up and then play our Surveil Land. I want the information after. The craziest part is I have 4 copies of No More Lies. No, 3. I thought I had 4. Yeah, so we're going to stock up here. Hitting all these lands is just not good for our ego. And River Regent inevitable, I guess. Like, Day of Judgment's not awful, right? No, we'll pass, I guess. Thing is, they have to remove my 2/2. If they don't, like, I'm just gonna block, obviously. If they found a land, this is gonna be huge for them. They go Quantum Riddler. Okay. And now it begins. Draw 2. This is why they struggle against the ping deck when drawing, because when you get them in spots like this, they just can't crawl their way out of it. A little part of me thinks I inevitable this now. But they could always put a goofball in their graveyard. Goofball's VV, by the way, if you're curious. You don't? Interesting. Okay. I'm not saying this is great, but I'm saying it's the worst. Honestly, I'd probably just defeat the Cauldron at this point, right? Here's in there. That's 3 copies of Cauldron now. Sure. Can I block this? Am I able to block this? Looks like I'm able to. They hit a Mako. Oh. And they used their mana, so now they can't play the Mako that they got. So obviously we're pretty excited about that. It's weird because playing this feels like weakness, but I think just doing it now makes way more sense. Yeah, and I think that's a good reason to think that way. Okay, go ahead, I guess. I use them all. 1, 2, 3. I have one more. You can get a 3 steps ahead to hard count or something, I guess. I guess they're on. I don't know, some lists tend to be on way fewer amounts of VVs. There's a couple running around only playing 2. But those were for best of 3, not best of 1. 2 mana Quantum Riddler? Yeah, we're not fighting over that. Here I definitely think we get value off our No More Lies, where we're most likely not going to get value later, right? Tap land. Sure. I think this is going to be literally a mill them out game, which is wild to think about. Could Spell Pierce me here, which would work. Surprisingly enough, I don't have enough mana. The end would be best, because then I just wouldn't have to worry about these stupid VVs, right? But I do have to worry about them, and they are scary. Inevitable defeat takes that out. Is it just a consult a star charts here? How many cards do I have left? You're gonna let me get to my turn? No, okay. Good opponent. I have 25. They have 21. Their turn went like that. That's kind of crazy. Here, go ahead. They don't play Spell Pierce. Who knows? So we can always bounce this back to their hand. And if you can get Vivi to the point where you're through combat, it's not near as bad as it could be the opposite way, right? It's always when it's the other way that you run into a lot of trouble. I don't know we have this. We have 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. We have 6-ish mana left over. Who knows? Maybe after this revelation, we can just body him. Oh, is that the last cauldron? It is the last cauldron. Alright. You're here? Few steps ahead. No way to really deal with it, I guess. They only have one card they can cast. Is it 3? I could go No More Lies here. And then they spend all their mana. And then it's stuck in play. And then I Revelation everything. We can go No More Lies here. And then go like 3 steps ahead, I think. Because if this resolves, it's exiled, right? So if we just counter it, then obviously they get what they want. Okay. I don't know how many cards they drew, but I'm banking on it not being enough. I don't know. I'm banking on it not being enough. I wish it told me. I wish there was like a thing. It was like, you drew 7 cards this turn. But 4 puts me to 22, so we'll see. 5 puts me... It's going to be really, really close. Oh, it's only 2? Okay. It's not near as bad as I thought it was going to be. Clearly, it could have been a lot worse. Come on. Go ahead. 19 to 17. And the battle really begins. That's a 5 mana Quantum Riddler. I suppose it resolved. How else am I supposed to get there? Honestly, we're at the point of like bouncing and then shooting a thing. They go second Quantum Riddler. That's the only way we're like in trouble. They choose not to, which is huge for us. That means we have bounce Riddler, shoot the Scholar for 4. And then we'll make 2 creatures and then Helix plus those. It's just really close. Again, they might be heading for Vivi here. They're at 9 cards. We're at 19. That's tapped, by the way, so... We want to go for bounce and 4 damage here. We actually want to go backwards here. And I have enough for the Spell Pierce. Because now I'll make 2 creatures. They'll be pretty low. I have it. I definitely have it here. And that's going to be an incredible way to get this win. We could obviously have a Flood Maw. Helix. And we get there. Holy, man. 22 minutes to fight this Vivi deck. This is what the 4-color control deck wants to do. Drag them to the deep waters and just make them have to make every actual decision where they don't just get to do stuff at random. Obviously not saying that's our opponent here. I'm just saying in general, we all I've played against VV players that just do literally whatever, whenever, and it works out somehow in the end. But making them take a lot of decisions here, especially with this, we're just going to end this turn by inevitable betraying the Cauldron. And I thought playing the plan of stopping VV from ever hitting the graveyard was the kind of better option where we found ourselves at, instead of shooting these, because if we did waste our things on these and then VV hit the graveyard and they played another one, we were in a lot of trouble there. So yeah, we ended up taking it. Very cool. Very cool. With that said and done, here we are with the 4-color control list that we were playing today. This was the one from the Super Qualifier Challenge, slot 2, I think. But 4-color lists are kind of interchangeable and flexible in a lot of ways. So definitely be prepared to kind of flex cards in and out. For example, the end being a very solid card that we are playing just to get rid of VVs and things like that. But it's only creature or planeswalker. So obviously we couldn't have taken that in that last game to hit the Cauldrons, which we obviously would have loved to do. Because I think VV for us is manageable as a creature, not as it's every creature. That obviously gets a lot harder. But that went well. That went great, I think. Overall, I think we saw against Mono Red how strong it can be. And obviously we can say, oh, but Brick, you helixed him 4 times and then defeated it. But you got to remember, we did teachings for like 2 of the helixes at some point, and then we didn't really have the kind of strong counterspell super early against the red player, so we were just kind of going back and forth with them there. And that's what we do. Like, we just want to find them. We use consults to find them. We use get lost. We use the helixes. We want to gain as much life as we can. They never turn on their screaming nemesis. They instead lightning helixed us instead of the nemesis, and we won for it. So obviously, we're going to take that in stride and just run it down if we can. So here is the list that we played. Fire Magic for best of 1. We might just cut. I can see how in best of 3, this is obviously going to be a pretty strong card. But for right now, I felt like it was never a card that I was incredibly excited to see. But it can definitely do a lot of work in a lot of matchups. Best of 1, you might want like the 3rd River region or something like that. Or maybe another 3 steps ahead, although I think that's a bit soft-ish. I say that lightly. Maybe a 3-mana board wipe, or the one that like the artifact that exiles everything, because that means you can clean up all your map tokens and not necessarily feel that bad about them. So there's a couple things there. Consult and stock up. I've been pretty adamant that I think consults and stock up's better than consult, and again, we just kind of ripped the list from the challenge because I'm getting back from Modern, by the way. This is post like 5k, getting there, doing a 12-hour day, and then coming home and playing. So I just didn't really have time to kind of divulge and break everything down. Spider-Man cards don't really fit in this deck that well, unfortunately, so we didn't really play any. But you can maybe find one of them to fit in if there's something relevant. But Spider-Man, kind of, in my opinion, outside of the Superior Spider-Man, and maybe a couple of other things like that, Simic 2-drop's pretty strong. Feels a lot like Aether Drift in terms of playability, where our best card out of that set's an uncommon. This is your Aether Drift card that we see played a ton. But that's just how it is, you know, when some sets are stronger than others. Like, I would say Final Fantasy is one of those sets that came out pretty strong, as we just fought VV for a half an hour. So, you know, there's like that deck that formed after Final Fantasy came out, but with Spider-Man, that deck didn't really form other than maybe Reanimator, which also, I guess, realistically, this, we could argue, just play Rest in Peace. You can just play like a main board hate graveyard piece entirely, so we just don't even have to worry about that stuff if we can find it. With all these cards to find it, we'll most likely find that Rest in Peace, and it's a 1-of on Arena, so it'll probably start in our opening hand, so who knows. But with that said, I hope you all enjoyed regardless, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.